One of the things we find when we follow kids who have been in care, and sometimes they've just been in care for a short period of time, but a lot of kids go into care and stay in care for a long time until they sort of graduate out of the system. What we find is their high school graduation rates are very, very low. In fact, kids who have been in care and have lived in poverty, which often go together, and have had a teen mom, which often go together, somewhere in the order of less than 20% of them graduate from high school. So about 80% of them are not completing high school. And not that completing high school is everything, but it kind of tells you about future prospects, because many of those kids, and we follow them for a long time. We don't just look and say, did you graduate high school on time, but did you go back and finish high school? Some of them will come back after many years, but within the first several years they don't, and that'll mean very often that they can't get a good job. And so they're again living in poverty, and that cycle starts again. And so the long-term outcomes don't look very good for kids who have spent time in care.
But remembering when that child goes into that care, already at some point, they're already feeling disconnected. They've already left their family. So they're disconnected, they're separated. Now they have to pick up another way of thinking that is not, again, of their culture or their mindset or their ceremonies or their way of life. Remember, probably before that, that mother already has been disconnected and separated from her culture and her mindset and ceremonies and all of that. Because that's what has happened throughout these years.
It's so important to think of this at a much broader level, that we need to be preventing the things that lead to kids in care in the first place, preventing poverty, preventing addictions, and supporting people who are already having in challenged circumstances to deal with those challenges so that they are able to care for their own children.
And I agree with that. And I think that in any community, whether it's the reserve or whether it's the town or whether it's the city, there needs to be something in place really that's safe and loving and kind. The human beings that work in those systems have to be loving, gentle, and kind. And I want that for all families, no matter what nationality they are. Because if you're losing your child, something is not happening before that. It's very hard when a family has no money to buy food. What are you going to do? How do you even deal with that? Like if you do know systems that are in place and you can go and take your family to eat there, that's good and wonderful. But in the home, what is the home like? With a single parent trying to do all that she can to just try to give her children a good life.
Well, and I've heard that the two biggest reasons for children going into care, I mean, the reason is neglect, but the reasons for neglect are poverty and housing issues.
Exactly.
And sometimes a family's housing is deemed not safe for the children.
Exactly,
but that's not the family's fault. I mean, it's the
exactly.
the role of poverty there.
But not only that, it just seems like there's nothing in place that's strong enough, that's really a dynamic place for people to come to. If I could just dream and wish all that I want to wish, and I'm a good dreamer too, is I would like to see a place, like even a setting like this. What a wonderful, beautiful setting. For the women who have lost their children, for the men who have lost their children, to come together and just come together to this place to be loved, to be accepted for who they are.